All the cycles.
Podcast. Spelled backwards.
Leap, dumb. Leap, dumb. Leap, dumb.
Well, howdy, folks, and welcome to Pod Lead'em. That's Top Model Podcast spelled backwards. I'm Lex Basile Price, and you have a magazine? Well, I have a TV show.
Oh, we're so back. My name is Hannah Jane Ginsburg, and when you see this beautiful specimen, this beautiful, little fawn, and then you put her through this process, and then she turns into this princess, it also shows possibility.
And I'm JW Crumpin. Frantic dance music playing.
And we're, of course, talking about Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, Episode 1 on Top.
I'm crying already. I'm so sorry, Lex.
Or as I like to call it, the documentary producer that ghosted me.
Ooh, sounds like you've got some iced tea and hot takes to spill.
Sounds like there's a main character of this episode we were not aware of.
Should I start with that? Just get it right out of the way.
Let's do it. Let's also.
No. We just gotta. I need to take a moment in the room because I feel giddy.
I fully started crying as soon as I heard both of your voices.
Oh.
As if
Don't talk to us.
haven't talked to you.
AW literally saw me last night at 1 a.m.
And I chatted
Almost
with Hannah
no breaks.
2 days ago. But I will say this: I've been doing a thing where I was like, you know what? I've never re-listened to our podcast.
Oh.
Let's re-listen. And then it really timed out well because I'm in the last cycle and then this came up. But I gotta say, y'all, we really did that.
We did.
We really did that. I was like, this is good.
Is the top rated Top Model Podcast good?
It's pretty
Critics
good.
say
Wait,
yes.
but is it round?
I feel like it was. And we're gonna round
Four's a
out.
round number.
I just can't believe we have to do more.
So,
Oh my god.
on November 20th, 2023, I received an email.
You can't see this, listeners, but Lex is wearing a full trench coat for the sit-down interview.
My boobies are out. So random and lovely to meet you this evening. Would love to set up a time to connect. I'm copying in our EP of Unscripted to help us find a time that works for your schedule next week. If you could send a few options, that would be great. Look forward to chatting ANTM. Best, Jason. Jason Beekman of Wise Child Studios. Now, you might think, E-meet? What does that person mean? Well, if you're not gay, this person messaged me on Scruff and asked
Oh my
and
god.
saw that because in my profile said I host
Of
a
course.
podcast, and then we chatted, and he reached out to me and said, I would love to talk to you because I'm a producer, and we're talking about producing a documentary about Top Model.
All of this was on Scruff?
Yes,
It's our generation's golf course for deal making.
yes.
Instead of a client dinner, it's like a client blowjob.
So then I get an email from Constantina, and she
Constantina.
says, "Hey Lex, great. How's this Tuesday, December 5th at 5:30 p.m.? Let me know if that works, and I'll send a Zoom link." And then it was confirmed, right?
Yeah.
I get on that Zoom link. I think I even told you to at the time that someone had done this.
Yeah.
And Jason Beekman never showed up to the meeting.
Oh.
And Constantina didn't seem like she wanted to talk to me.
So Constantina did show up to the meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Then, December 5th, the day of the meeting at, let's see, what time was this? 6:30. So an hour after our meeting time. Lex, my sincere apologies for missing this evening. I was stuck dealing with a bit of an emergency and feel awful for missing. I am looping up with Constantina, and we will be in touch in the coming weeks to regroup again. Really appreciate it, and apologies again. No further emails received.
Looping up.
I know.
Can I just say also, copying in and looping up are phrases I've never heard people use.
Mm.
So then when I saw this, I had a memory of just like, Wise Child, and I literally typed it into my email and got this thread. Then I decided to go look at Wise Child Productions because I'm about ready to blow this person's life up. I went to look at Wise Child Studios page, their website. And when you look, you see Jason Beekman, founder, CEO, and executive producer, Constantina, chief of staff, production supervisor. So I guess she got a bump up from 2023.
Well, she looped up.
And then
She copied in.
there's a person named Jennifer Beekman who is a development producer. And I did some snooping, and it doesn't seem like Jennifer is Jason's sibling or relative. Perhaps, Jennifer, he might be gay, and you might be in a not a good marriage. Unless you know that he's trolling Scruff.
I honestly thought, I was like, did Lex almost get sherry pied? Is this a story about how you almost got sherry pied?
Yeah.
I cannot believe. I think literally what happened was this Beekman person. What was his name? Jason?
Jason.
Full Christian birth name, Jason Beekman. I think he was like, oh, well, gays will have no top model on Scruff.
Yeah.
I just wonder how like deep into that he had to get until he was like fully living out life as a gay man. And I'm sorry, I've got to start our whole.
Put it out here. Throw it out.
Y'all, this is going to be this is part 1 of 3. We're going to do episode by episode, cycle by cycle. There's one cycle of this. And you know why there won't be another cycle? Because this documentary sucks.
Boo-boo!
I wish I could call it cycle by cycle, but that's not what happens in the documentary.
So, of course, this documentary opens with the fucking Tiffany monologue, and it's, you know who it always is a joy to see? Tatiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You know who had so much screen time inadvertently? Rebecca.
And Family Guy.
Oh
my
Where
God.
they changed Tiffany's race in that?
No, okay, so that is the tip. When we get to the Family Guy clip, I have needed to talk about that Family Guy clip for the entirety of my life, and we never did it on the podcast proper, and I am going to scream about several details.
Good, because that Family Guy clip got the with and credit in this documentary. You see it so many times.
It also immediately, Tyra is trying to gaslight us and be like, Tyra's intentions. Who is speaking when this is said?
This is what I just want to establish this right now, because I'm going to rant about it too many times. If you are looking to watch the show for anyone in any sort of position of power to take a second of accountability, it happens exactly once and it's nothing.
It's for the weirdest thing.
It is.
It's for something that I'm like, oh, that wasn't something I would have maybe even taken accountability for.
No. All of the horrible things, all of the worst things, it happened somehow. Nobody knows how, but somebody definitely happened it. But it wasn't me, but someone.
Anna, I think you know the real villain here is
Agents.
No. Well, it's the early 2000s and Gen Z. Fuck them. Fuck them both.
Let's start by establishing a couple of things about this. There are 3 main things you got to know, because there was someone, I've been posting about this on TikTok, and there was someone who commented and said, I can't wait to support your podcast and not give residuals to this documentary. Slay.
Yes.
Let me say 3 things you got to know about this. 1, it sometimes has frantic editing, and they love to show anyone and everyone uncredited from YouTube and TikTok. And couldn't be bothered to put a screen
handle?
name up.
Nope. Felt very Vice documentary. Yeah.
2, captions could never be bothered. There are captions crunches.
Is the star of episode 3.
Yep. You thought Captions Crunch had an oops all mistakes, oops all berries variety, and it is here to slay. And 3rd, someone, I don't know who, doesn't actually also care about Top Model, because the way they edit in incorrect clips referencing incorrect moments in incorrect cycles drove me.
We're
It
jumping
feels-
around.
It feels like whoever made this read the Wikipedia biggest moments of top model page
Yes.
and then like just did that in that order.
It's like,
There's no sense of like a holistic point that's trying to be made. They just like trot out incidences without ever trying to really make a larger point other than, wow, this was messed up, huh? Which, quite frankly, we all already knew.
Yeah, and also, but that doesn't even apply to Top Model. It's almost like it was made by aliens because we're also equating like heroin chic and Victoria's Secret angels.
Mhm.
Like, what are we doing? Those aren't the same.
And there's no pushback when people associated with Top Model make various claims of trailblazing. There is absolutely zero pushback from the documentarians in a way that's wild to me.
oh my gosh. Okay. I want you to read my first real note, which was, oh God, Matt Lauer jump scare.
That was scarier than Inspector Gadget. Because why? Who on her team decided this is how she needed to look? Oh, she her investigative documentary.
Oh my! They made her take off the Sherlock Holmes hat. before
Yes.
she sat down.
Let me say, everyone got to pick, and I assume generally pick their own look for this, because
Mhm.
everyone gets a look.
Yes.
Tyra picking this, you know what, there's a part of me that could have excused away trench coat. I think it's silly, but my brain can get there. But the fact that the trench coat is emblazoned with embellished florals
Cutouts.
Those
sent
puffy
me.
daisies. It looks like something like a decal you'd stick on your shower.
Yes. Also, I said, despite the fact that what you read, Lex, I put, oh, Hannah is in the documentary because one of the first faces we see is someone going, one girl almost got hypothermia. And I was like, that's Hannah Jane Ginsburg, baby. Lest we forget.
Is there more of a better way to set us in a time and place than Tyra saying, I want to take you back to 2020. COVID hit, and the world was binging TV.
This is how I know she knows about this podcast, right?
Right?
She absolutely does.
Mhm.
It was very confusing to me when she said, take me back to 2020, because my brain was like, but that's not when Top Model started.
No, that's the beginning of blame. That's the beginning of everything was fine and dandy. No one ever said a word to Tyra ever. No
Until
one
these
ever
woke
called her out.
assholes.
Yeah.
It's very funny to me how many people who sat down for interviews who seem pissed off that they have to talk about these things and are not trying to hide it. Like they seem so annoyed to talk about other people's trauma.
But you know who's happy to talk about other people's drama? Ken motherfucking Mock.
I gotta say, I was a little surprised at the sheer amount of Ken Mock we got in this, though.
I think he didn't stop talking. I think he didn't have nothing on his
Oh.
plate that day, and they got all the footage from Ken Mock.
And yet the mock falcon is silent.
I really wish we had gotten Michelle, because
yeah.
especially for Cycle 1,
Yes.
especially because I'm gonna say, for me, I think I said this before we started recording, but there's 3 episodes, right? Episode 1 to me has the most actual interesting new information,
Yes.
mostly in TV creation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Episode 2 is a challenging one emotionally to watch, and we'll get to it. Episode 3 to me is when it gets goofy because it becomes drama again for the most part. Not exclusively, obviously. We have to talk about Miss J, but like it becomes the firing stuff. But episode 1, I'm just like, this is kind of what I wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me how you made this, because it also reveals that Tyra did less.
Well, I'm sorry. When they're like, Tyra's like, I came and I said, what if we took American Idol, mixed it with The Real World, and we get a show that Ken Mock already produced called Making the Band? That's the show, Tyra.
But see, I can totally envision network executives like falling out. You know what I mean? I
Oh.
can envision the pitch meeting in my mind. Because she does have something. She knows how to talk to a certain kind of person
Yeah.
to sell a thing.
So can I just say, we're talking, we get a little bit about Tyra and her like journey, what she's going to do, and we'll eventually find out that she made Top Model for spite,
Yep.
revenge, if you will. I'm going to plant one flag. I don't think Tyra is a great TV or movie actor. I always thought she was good on Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
And I want to know what the difference was. What
It's
direction
close
did
to
she
sketch,
get?
I think.
Yeah, I think it's because it's closest to the Wild and Out kind of thing.
And also maybe Will Smith was just a great scene partner.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
feel the vibe, but I always was like, why didn't that happen?
So this is a very minor point, but it goes throughout the entire series. Anytime they mention something that's like old-timey, we have to see a visualization of that.
Yes.
So when Mr. J is talking about like, I didn't have music posters in my room, and then we hear like, wow, and then there's like music posters on a wall, and I'm like,
You know how teenagers have music posters?
It's so behind the music to me,
yes,
where they would be
It is very that.
their band was like a airplane taking flight.
Every time they did a close-up on the ringing
The
Panasonic handheld.
Oh God, the phone ringing clips sent me.
or when they put the TV in a TV from 1992.
Yeah.
Classic choice.
Oh, but let's say right now. So Tyra comes up with this thing. I want to marry American Idol, the real world, set in the modeling industry. Can't believe we got an O-Town shout out. Hilarious.
Crazy. A lot of O-Town.
It made me want to rewatch Making the Band.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But then we learn that Ken Mock was the one who was like, but it's gotta be a show. It has to have format of any
Structure.
kind. And I was like, oh, so truly, Ken Mock came up with all the main things that we liked, it sounds like.
Mhm.
He came up with eliminations, for example.
Photo shoots, seemingly.
Teaches and challenges as a thing.
Mr. and Miss J.
Good judges.
That reveal that the Jays were in the initial pitch of the show.
I had no idea.
Me neither.
It
And I
also
love that.
goes to set, not to give J. Manuel any roses.
But I think you have to for this. I think you have to get that rose here.
That, I mean, it's, if we're to be believed, which it seems like so, the reason why that
He was a big part of the
meltdown.
creation of this.
The whole journey for me of watching J. Manuel in this documentary is like giving one rose and taking away 11.
Yeah.
Like every time.
It's a florist nightmare.
Also,
The blue math is terrible. Can we go back to the candle-based economy? It was way less confusing.
Given a 3-wick, taking away a 4-wick. Oh.
But he really, he thinks that he eats in this documentary.
yeah.
He thinks that this makes him look amazing. And he's got some moments, but no.
Can I?
Sorry.
So I did something crazy that was not worth it.
of course,
Because
that's the name of the game here at Positive.
There was only one reveal. I was like, how much individual time does every person who got an interview get?
Oh, I love that.
Mr. J, by and large, gets the most.
Yeah.
And after that, it's Tyra Ken Mock. And after that, it actually becomes, I think it's Danielle. Who, by the way, y'all, this is a reveal for later.
This made me so angry.
But if we refer to the model Danny Evans as Danielle, it's because we find out at the
end
credit.
that she now prefers that. So just so you know, we're not being disrespectful by saying Danielle.
After having been Tyroned for the entire show with the incorrect name.
I was like, they were like, haha, this dead name's a surprise.
You know what was a surprise, but I enjoyed it? Everyone being like, y'all, UPN sucks. Even the president at the time of UPN.
Oh, Don Ostroff, a villain.
I
Just
kind of
here to
live
be
for
evil.
her. I kind of live for her. When she left later on, I was like, oh no, I loved her presence.
That's like, that was one of the best examples of like, we have to show it when Ken Mock was like, Dawn left, and then they
She
just started
stands up.
forgetting and leaving the soundstage.
She said, my time is up.
Okay.
I'm like, did you mean then or now?
So we're talking about, they're talking about now in Cycle 1, they're creating the show. Mr. and Miss J are, Mr. and Miss? Yeah, I said that right. Mr. and Miss J are going to be part of the pitch. So when they're going to networks, it's Tyra and the Jays. One thing, a flower in our flower-based economy that I will give to Ken Mock is I love Ken Mock being like, Miss J had the most beautiful legs.
Oh, I loved that too. A rare, wholesome moment.
Ken Mock is still like questioning his identity, sexuality in regards to Miss J.
I think Miss J does that to people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think truly such a force of personality and beauty that you're just like, well, I mean, and I do love that Ken Mock was definitely on let's diverse this up train.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I think based on, I'm trying to separate Mr. J's book too with some of this stuff and try to take the
He sure isn't.
No.
Yeah, well, but I'm trying
It's
to like not.
fiction, JW. It is.
What was that character's name? Something
Fiction.
Bong. Something Bong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to separate that because Ken Mock we didn't see a lot during the time of the show. And I do like that Ken Mock clearly knows TV, for better or worse. And also did truly seem like he was fighting to be like, no, America's gonna love and need diversity.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a good look. That for episode 1, I was mostly on Mock's side, honestly.
But the revelation that Tyra Banks basically stole her entire
No.
Entire.
Zahira.
Entire.
She stole her entire persona that we know as Tyra Banks from Miss J.
Mm-hmm.
The time that the UPN pitch happened, Tyra literally says, does not mince a single syllable.
Nope.
I said, what would Miss J do? And I did that, and we got it.
But she doesn't seem to realize
No.
saying.
There is a casual cruelty to Tyra in moments of this documentary that feels like a kid pulling the wings off of a butterfly.
Yes.
Oh, that is devastatingly accurate, Hannah Jane.
Yeah, it's creepy. And also, you alluded to this, JW, but she straight out says that she started this show to kind of get revenge on the entire modeling industry. She literally says, I wanted to get back.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't make any sense.
Well, the idea, she always on the show said, I wanted to expand the definition of beauty. I wanted to acknowledge different kinds of beauty. I wanted to open up the fashion industry to different kinds of beauty. But here it seems like it's coming from a place of, I created Top Model because my life as a model was a bit too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I'm going to show everyone why you shouldn't have made my life hard.
But it also feels like a sorority sophomore who finally gets to haze people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
One thing we should mention is every time they show UPN footage, it's so blurry because apparently UPN footage doesn't exist anymore in its original quality.
Oh, I did some research, and this relates, I think, and will, I think, color a lot of our commentary about Tyra. So she was the last person that the production team got on to agree.
Oh.
And I wonder if they actually talked to everyone else and then got around to Tyra, because they were negotiating for a period of weeks, agreeing that she would sit for about an hour, and they only had they got roughly 4 hours of her, which is in a documentary wildly short amount of time to sit and talk with someone.
That's how you know she wasn't a producer on it.
Yeah.
Especially, as we'll learn, it seems like they cut out huge pauses where Tyra sat silent, refusing to answer questions, into some poor beleaguered producer had to be like, how about this?
Have any words? There is also, Tyra cannot live as anything but the underdog in this narrative. Like, she always finds a way to make herself beleaguered. Nobody believes her. She's the one with the vision. And at one point she goes, if Top Model wasn't picked up, what would I do? Where would I go? What would I be? And this was 2002, when she was still walking for Victoria's Secret. She was still at the peak of her modeling career when she was pitching this show. What are you actually talking about?
Which is bolstered by the fact that people like Dawn Oster, if we didn't say was the former president of UPN, she thought when Tyra came in, she was like, well, this is a vanity project because this person's famous and just wants more attention.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We, the first model Tyron that we get is Winter Shannon.
Y'all, my phone forgot Tyron.
No!
To relearn.
This is the most we've seen of Winter Adrian in 20 years.
I will say this, even though they show models just whenever, whenever they feel like it.
Yep.
We do basically see almost every model that was in the first, 17 seasons of the show. Just because there's just clips that they just show clips.
Uncredited clips, usually.
Oh yeah. I love, there's this behind this. I want to talk about Shannon's outfit, so. But I also have to emotionally prepare myself. We see this, I wish it was in better quality because my pause wasn't giving me what I needed. We see a casting board behind the scenes clip with notes for every model. It's mostly focused on someone else will re-meet Ebony. But there's someone, you can't see the photo, you can just see the thing, and a note written on a pink sticky note is possibly regrets her tattoo. And I want to know. I want to know. And I loved it, how wholesome in Cycle 1 they were like, ooh, a regretful tattoo storyline, I see.
I love possibly, like she wouldn't come out and say it.
We think she should. I don't know.
We could get her there. We could get her to regret.
There's also this storyline, because this is now the cavalcade of models that we're going to be talking to. But they're like, let's show you beauty that's not obvious. Cut to stunning Ebony.
Oh my god. Can we talk about how Ebony looks now?
Yep, you know what? A good grease routine sure does work, I guess.
My god. The light moments in this were just me being attracted to women in their 40s.
Yes.
Because hot damn.
Jeez
Ebony,
Christ.
the look, the hair, the vibe.
Oh, the hair.
Everything. The way she's just always posing. Like every time they take B-roll of her and she's just doing the most beautiful poses you've ever seen in your life.
And that smile still lights up a room.
Yep.
I just, and then I wrote one of my favorite notes from this little series. That makeup artist is really attacking Shannon's T-zone. Because we see Shannon and there's a makeup artist like furiously like, I'm going to get that brow.
The one time I related to Tyra in this documentary is when she talks about her brown cat suit that made her feel super hot at the time. And I was like, you know what? That's relatable.
Sure, but that was not TV ready, that cat.
It sure was not. Although I did think she brought it back for the Tooch Teach so many cycles later.
Yeah.
So Shannon is wearing a pink power suit that has fringe sleeves. It is the most, this is so specific, it is the most Jerrica Bitten coated outfit I've ever seen. He's like, I'm business, but I'm secretly Jim.
Jim on the drag race runway.
Yeah. And Shannon, by the way, her journey is, I had a growth spurt, and that fixed it.
Well, say that. There is a reveal that perhaps...
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm not... Well, we could...
No, because that's Shannon's whole energy. Shannon's energy is like, I guess if you're good at modeling, you'll continue to model. Sorry about it.
Yeah.
But no, we get this reveal that perhaps not wanting to be naked had less to do with Christianity. She just glommed onto Robin's excuse, and maybe had something to do with the fact that she had a severe eating disorder. Like, we didn't want to mate. And I get, like, it's hard to be like, I wish they capitalized on the eating disorder. But they had Elise as the eating disorder one, so therefore they didn't need to make Shannon the eating disorder one.
They used EDs to divide these contestants instead of saying, wow, look at what everybody goes through, basically.
Right. How systemic it is.
Yeah, and instead used it as this point for, like, people to be mean to each other about.
It also really goes to, and we kind of talked about this during All Stars when Shannon returned, that they never wanted Shannon to be a multidimensional person.
No.
Right.
They wanted Shannon to be Christian, and if she dislikes something, or is against something, or is uncomfortable by something, it's because of Christianity.
And virgin.
Yeah.
Always virgin forever. Yeah.
She doesn't get to be anything else besides that. And so if she ever talked about her ED in the show, it was just, and maybe she didn't, but like, it was just taken away, which I think really does a disservice. It really paints the whole not doing the nude shoot thing in such a different perspective and light.
I also think because Shannon literally says, I was this amount of weight and this height. And Elise is, and then we cut straight to Elise being told, I was this height and this weight. And it's almost the same.
Well, and then later on, and when plus size winner Whitney tells us how much she weighed when she started on the show, again, basically the same.
Basically the same.
Oh my gosh, that reveal later that I feel like we never got in the actual show. I was
Nope.
like, oh my gosh, what a takedown of the entire plus size idea.
Yep.
Also, am I crazy, or do we keep seeing a Cycle 1 blonde woman that we never met?
I don't know who that
swear
is.
there's this woman who is in so many clips who we just never actually met at the time. Some of the Cycle 1 footage feels like it wasn't in the episodes, and maybe this is because it is a long time away that we have talked about that, and I have not rewatched those cycles since we podcasted about them. But
So there was Nicole, who is blonde, who was there, but just like a pill, and I feel like that was most of her storyline. And then I was also thinking about Tessa watching this, being like, Giselle and I came on at the same time.
poor Tessa.
It's also strange when we have an entire episode dedicated to Cycle 1, and there's no mention of Bo Quillian, there's no mention of Kimora Lee.
Uh-huh.
That was odd. And again, we'll show like clips because you can't fully edit them out,
Right.
but why? It was very odd that it made it seem like Miss J and Mr. J were the judges, especially because, and I found this fascinating,
Mm-hmm.
the Tyron in the documentary
Mhm.
Yep.
credits Mr. J as creative director and judge, and I'm like, only sometimes.
Occasionally.
Guest finales.
Mm-hmm.
And then Janice is only there to be in opposition to Tyra.
Well, there are 3 categories of people in the documentary, right? There are the people who are in the show who talk on camera. There are the people who they highlight from the show who did not participate in the documentary, so we only see them in clips. And then there are the people who are on the show who the documentary has decided don't matter.
And then every so often, they'll edit it in a way that it's footage that's not the show and is an interview of a contestant,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems like they're trying to make it seem like they got this footage, meaning for the documentary exclusively. It was odd that sometimes they were like cobbling together past interviews, but I'm like, but that may not be how that person feels today, that you can't.
Yeah.
do
It
that.
also just feels like we lack a lot of crucial context because when we get to like the big traumatic moments, generally they are focused on the contestant who was at the center of them. And that's correct. Obviously, they
Right.
the best thing that this documentary does is to center those women and let them talk about what happened to them. But it also seems strange when you see the clips back and you see the other contestants surrounding them who are also witnessing what was happening at the time.
Yeah.
And you never hear from another contestant who was also there.
I think the biggest shame of the entire documentary is I could have used less Tyra,
Yeah.
Mhm.
less Mr. J, less a
Yes.
couple other people, and more contestants. Because
100%.
one of the reasons I do think the section about Cycle 1 works the best is because we get 3 differing perspectives
Mm-hmm.
and 3 fairly memorable contestants from that cycle.
Yeah.
And who all had kind of different journeys post-show. But then you get a contestant from Cycle 2, Skippy,
Mm-hmm.
2 contestants from Cycle 6 who were the finalists, so that's good,
Yes.
right? And then
1 from 4.
1 for 4. Oh, yeah, Kenya, obviously. Then we
One
get
from 5.
Dion.
Barely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dion is
barely.
barely in this.
To
Yeah.
come on to say one thing, which I
Yeah,
will get.
and Bree, once again, barely.
Oh, Bree, right. And see,
Mhm.
some of these people I'm forgetting because even though there's not that many models, they don't even get that much screen time.
You
Also,
would
once
think
they
that-
talk, they are forgotten about.
Yeah.
You would almost think that Whitney was on a cycle by herself.
Yes.
Also think that Whitney is in cycle 4.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but post 10, there's not a single model interview. The show is very uninterested in the show post 16.
Yeah, the storytelling is so incoherent.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
We get confirmation that Tyra does indeed read the comments because when the show premiered, she was apparently immediately in the AOL chat rooms.
That was so funny.
And in another Tyra thing, it was very strange that they hid Tyra saying wide ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to talk about what we kind of figure out, sort of, why there was the weirdness in Cycle 1 that they only cast 8.
Yes.
And then got 2 additional models.
Because we get our first big off-screen villain.
Yes.
And he's a good pick. This is an uncomplicated villain we could all hate. Les Moonves.
I wished we got a sighting of Lady Moonves.
Oh.
Because for those of you who don't know, JW and I are Big Brother fans.
She's in the robot shop.
Yeah, but Julie Chen Moonves, who really hit that Moonves,
Stood by her man.
did. We refer to her as Lady Moonves.
Yeah.
Well, she does, basically. Lex and I were there the first, watching live, the first time. If you don't know Big Brother, at the end, originally Julie Chen, would always say, "From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen. Good night." Then
Love one another.
She only started adding that because the night all of the stuff about Les Moonves came to light. That live show, Julie goes, "From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Love one another." And I've heard Lex gay scream a lot. But, like, Banshee from the X-Men, a perfect...
You saw the
You saw the
sound
rings.
the
Over here-
window shattered.
Over here in Jersey City, New York, I fell to the floor.
But apparently, Les Moonves didn't want a Latina girl on the show. Or as Ken Mock says, a Hispanic Latina girl.
He says Hispanic Latino girl.
Oh.
We have not gotten better on the terminology, Ken Mock. I know it was a different time, but you can update your words.
Now the documentary is now.
But as Tyra said, it started in 2020. Anyway. And apparently, Tyra almost got physical with him and is like gonna beat up Les Moonves.
Would have loved to see that, honestly. I wish I had been a fly on the wall for that, and I wish I had been a fly on the wall for that first pitch meeting at UPN.
Yes.
Where Tyra decided characters welcome.
Yes.
Wish I could have been there.
And so, apparently, my thinking is the editing edited away 2 people that were picked.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to bring 2 white people on, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got Tessa and Giselle. And I don't remember Giselle's background.
I thought
So
She was a dancer.
no, I
remember
meant,
that was
sorry, like
an
her
ethnic background.
ethnic background.
Yeah. Because I was like,
Well, she is Hispanic, isn't
I
she?
thought
That's what
she
I-
was.
that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
I think the
too.
person was too quote unquote
Oh.
Hispanic Latino,
Yes.
and Giselle
Oh.
was the like acceptable
Compromise contestant.
Yeah,
God, that's so
Ugh.
gross. Like, I just can't believe, like, the one thing I feel like we always, and I think people in generally always kind of heralded about Top Model is the contestant pool did feel like, for the time and even now, honestly,
Yeah.
felt like it was like pretty racially diverse, and I didn't realize they had to work so hard for that early.
Even the contestants in the documentary who have nothing else nice to say about Tyra or Top Model say that their intentions were pure when it came to portraying ethnic diversity on the show.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. It's like the one thing several of them were like, the intent seemed good there.
Mm-hmm.
And not just diverse in race, but we see that you're gay. Ebony's replaying of this whole thing like, well, I guess I'm coming out on TV.
You guys are going to talk to me about how we do that, right?
I think it's telling that Ebony calls Ken Mr. Mock. Tyra and Mr. Mock. Seems like not a lot of love for Ken Mock.
And I don't want to downplay what Ebony did, because Ebony obviously did something huge and seismic for her own life and was trying to encourage other people to do the same. But when Top Model acts like they were the first television show to portray a queer relationship in 2002.
That's so disingenuous to your own fucking inspiration of the real world, which had queer relationships on it from almost the beginning.
The real world, Ellen, Buffy, the L Word, like
Will and Grace was even on. Like, despite that,
in the 90s.
like, what are we talking about?
No, it's so fascinating because Top Model really wants to. It felt like I get that I guess the documentarians were putting people together, but in the world where Tyra was in charge of this, it's almost like she wanted Ebony here to be like, and can you believe we did it? We cast Ebony.
Mm-hmm.
I will say some reveals that are interesting. I did not realize that the judging room for Cycle 1 was in the same hotel that the girls stayed in.
Yeah, Boquillian owned it. I mean, we weren't far off.
And this is where we start getting more of Miss J. And I love Miss J's vibe of, yeah, this stuff was wrong, but it was also really fucking funny.
My shot was called when I was like, I'm pretty sure Miss J is going to be the only one that comes out of this, like, sparkling clean. And yeah, I think Miss J is like, yeah, we were mean sometimes.
It feels very drag. It feels like, yeah, I'm going to read you. That's what I'm here for. That's why they hired me.
Totally.
And none of the former contestants seem to have beef with Miss J.
Giselle is in love with Miss J.
Yeah, there does not seem to be any ill will, bad blood between Miss J and any of the contestants from this.
I think that's because Miss J is so authentically himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That you never ever got like, where I'm putting this on for camera, I'm putting you down for the camera, I'm taking advantage of you. That was the person you were going to meet anywhere on and off camera. And I think also in that environment, it's probably so refreshing to have that person.
Yes.
That you can always rely on.
And I
in
think,
a world of artifice.
Yes.
This is the only person that the contestants are seeing regularly who is used to working with young women. Who like had a career working with, talking to, encouraging, coaching young women.
And I don't think, and there's some stuff that like, yeah, that's really harsh. But I don't think that Miss J was ever trying to break these people down. I think they used humor and shadiness to offer advice and help.
And to
maybe
honestly
lighten things up. Yes.
Lightens the situation. Like, it's funny because, I think there's always this discussion to be had. And we often as a society frame it as, well, what's funny and what's bullying? And I think...
Oh my god, don't start watching Love Island. You'll never hear the end of bullying.
But I think Miss J is this great example of like, if the intent and the tone and the context is funny, it's not bullying. No single person here ever had anything to say about, and that made me feel awful. And it was something that Miss J said. Yeah.
Well, and he was always making fun of the walk. He wasn't making fun of the person. Like, I do that, like, and I can see how it would be, how it would be hurtful to have what you're doing commented on potentially. But he didn't usually go for people's, like, personalities or who they were. When he was being super shady, it was about the walk.
No.
Now, not in judging always, but.
Sure.
And I don't know how y'all felt. We got a lot of screen time to the bikini wax.
We did not need to see it again.
No. Well, poor Giselle. They showed this clip like 5 times.
And you almost see everything.
Yes.
I don't remember saw that much. But I kind of wish that the documentary did have a couple of more things. And again, I think it's because they had enough contestants to talk about it. That was like some stuff that was, pardon me, but outrageous. Without it feeling like it traumatized people.
Yes.
I just wish because this documentary is not made for super fans.
No.
This documentary is made for people who they remember watching it.
Or Gen Z
are re-examining.
Stock clips on TikTok, yeah.
Yeah. But it's it's for people who like kind of forgot how many bad things Tyra and the show did on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And their knowledge ends at we were all rooting for you. How dare you?
Yes.
While with us, I'm just like, it's kind of like you were saying earlier, Hannah. It feels like a Watch Mojo list of
Yes.
the top 10 things that you remember from Top Model, which is unfortunate because sometimes we just get 2 minutes of screen time that's just playing a clip in full, and I'm like, well, I have a podcast.
Well, they also just they hardly ever vary the tone. So all traumas sort of get smoothed out to the same level of trauma.
Yes.
Which is insane when you're trying to compare assault to walking down a runway with a cockroach.
Yes.
Yeah. And they also made it seem, I don't know if y'all felt this, that Cycle 16 fire runway where they had fire in their hands, they act like that was the most dangerous things the models ever did. And I'm
They
like,
had
that
fucking
was safe.
gloves on.
That was one that I remember us saying was like, oh, that was like a cool one.
It was cool. They had people on set that knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kasha killed it.
But also, ball on the water runway, yes, very unsafe.
Oh yeah, that
Oh my
was
God.
fun.
Can we talk about
All on the runway.
The
So funny because I know what
unseen-
you mean.
the unseen cameo from David Bowie in this episode?
Who gets a Tyron that's not the Tyron from the show. It's a Tyron
No.
from the clip.
Yeah, from Zoolander. Part of me wants to believe that it was Iman pretending to be David Bowie. That Iman was like, I'm handing the phone to David.
Click. And then no voice change.
Manuel, it's David Bowie, isn't it?
No,
You're
I think
doing what you were meant to do.
I think opposite. I think Amon did this but didn't change her voice at all. And Tyra was like, oh.
Or like, Mr. J was like, so what does David think? And Iman was like, oh yeah, let me go get him and I'll see. So funny.
We bring in Nigel to balance Janice. I don't know what that statement means.
No, I mean, it's so... Nigel's second cycle inclusion is really interesting because there's a part of me that does forget he didn't start until cycle 2 because he is so kind of ubiquitous to the show. Sorry, my apologies to the killing and quilling it of it all. But it's really funny that the network apparently was like, we need someone white, hot, male, straight, whatever. And then they brought in Nigel Barker, and Mr. J in this documentary says, and he was Sri Lankan, but I mean, whatever.
The fact that we have a clip of Jay dismissing his Sri Lankan heritage as a person, Jay, who is part black, but doesn't seem to like to make that part of the narrative around themselves.
Mhm.
It's crazy to be like, that's not real.
And I'm gonna say something, but I'm ready to be controversial. Miss J comes across the best in the documentary.
Yes.
Mhm.
Nigel's the only one that I think gets a little bit of a redemption arc because Nigel, in the documentary itself, is the only one that I'm like, oh, you seem a little cooler than I thought. You seem a little sweeter, a little nicer, a little friendlier to the right people.
I've been sort of diving into social media, what contestants are posting, people who were both featured on the documentary and not featured on the documentary. And you do see in a lot of the comments that Nigel has positive relationships with contestants post-show. And I even
Interesting.
saw Shandy in particular comment on one post that Nigel had put up that said, you were really good to us post-show. Like, after the show, you were there for us, you got us work. The way you talked about us after the show was good. So it was nice to see that.
I think that's good because on the show, you know, we talked about in our podcast his like, oh my goodness me-ness
Mhm.
of like being a little
Horny.
too flirty, a little too horny, a little too this, that, and the other. And I always wonder now that I know that he was brought in
Mhm.
and
As
forced
horny
to
judge.
horny judge if he was forced and if they found any clip to include that
Right.
because they were like, we gotta have that for some reason. Because I will say, my one critique of Nigel
Mhm.
is he does love to excuse away stuff by being like, I'm just a befuddled guy.
Oh yeah, no. The
I
thing
don't
is-
know. Was I on Top Model?
It was nice to see that on the Instagram post, but he just refuses to take he won't say out loud on the documentary, we should not have done that.
Yeah.
That was bad. I regret this specific thing. It's always very generally, some things were bad, and we probably shouldn't have, but we did, so here we are.
I wonder.
Like, there's a lot of mitigating. There's a lot of softening.
It seemed like he was the only one who didn't know that the documentary had started. And so it was like he was a man on the street interview and was trying not to get gotcha'd. And I'm like, but you knew you were going to talk about top model.
How much of that is the fact that he's married to a set of twins who are constantly pranking him? So he just has to go through life being like ready to be gotcha at all moments.
Yeah, like if the princess switch was your life, if you lived the princess switch for real, how would you react to things?
I hope now they're up to Princess Switch 3 when there's a third one. It's just a third Chrissy Barker. He's like, one of them's blonde?
Yeah, just Chrissy in a wig.
A monocle.
Okay, let me say, so there was a moment where they were talking about Cycle 1, and to me, and this is maybe, my current 2026 lens, like Tyra would say, it's funny to me to think about people writing in about Miss J and being like, how dare you, that's disgusting, don't put that on my TV, when it's Miss J. Yeah. Everyone loves Miss J. It's so weird to me to think that anyone can watch Miss J exist in the world and not love them. I don't know.
I wonder. I don't think they're bringing the show back. I'm going to say that now. I'll say it in every episode. I think that's bullshit.
I think it's a threat, not a promise.
Yeah.
I wonder what the internet space would be like for someone like Miss J when you see the parasocial relationships that people form now with people on Instagram, particularly with reality contestants. I really wonder what that space would be like. Because if it got really popular again, I think it would be trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe it. I could see that hate mail.
Yeah.
I can't believe we got to have to see this fucking psychic again.
But before we move on to this point, I just want to give a little emphasis again to just how well Ebony comes off in this episode and how beautiful her story is, and to listen to her talking about the relationships with the women in her life and growing up in the salon in Harlem. And really, after hearing that and watching her go through that makeover again, how violent that makeover was towards her and how cool and callous.
Callous? I forgot about this.
I did too. It was disgusting. It was so dehumanizing. And when she talks about thinking that Tyra will understand because Tyra must have gone through similar experiences.
Yeah.
And then having Tyra call her up to just throw more not even microaggressions, just aggressions at her.
The fact that Lotion Commotion was fully Tyra's fault.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Ebony also got 3 bald spots from her makeover.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get, so Ebony's the part that I'm kind of glad she didn't have to relive more of this, but I forgot how much story we got, how many different things we discussed about Ebony on the show. Because I didn't remember the whole skin stuff. I did.
Sure.
But in the grand scheme of things, it felt like a small part of the show.
Well, the show made it silly. The show made fun of her for it.
Yeah. And when she said that little girls would come up to her and be like, oh my gosh, you're on the show. I wanted to be a model, but I guess I can't because I have skin like yours. That broke my heart for Ebony and for everybody.
Every time we see Ebony then and now, are you fucking kidding me?
A glowing human being.
And she talks about, and this seemed like the thing that she was the most disappointed from in Tyra. Ebony got a phone call from Tyra during the course of the show where Tyra said, hey, we gotta talk. People on set are saying that you're showing up, quote, ashy every day. And Ebony discusses how hearing that from a black woman, that language was extremely specific and pointed and historically represented something. And you could tell that was the moment that Ebony realized that Tyra Banks was not going to be what Ebony wanted / needed her to be. Mm-hmm. And that was, it was kind of that stuff right there is kind of what I wish the documentary talked about more.
Yes.
Because I thought that was a really interesting way to talk about the reality TV show machine and how you're criticized, but how also language is important and mentorship is important.
Yeah.
And this could have been relayed in a way, and Ebony even gave examples, like there were other ways to have said this that I would have been able to take.
Yep.
Well, it also shows that how little Tyra has grown, because she is the same person that Ebony's like, going in, I thought I can have a mentor, I can have, camaraderie there.
Mhm.
Even though it's a imbalanced relationship, there should be some letting the ladder down, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Tyra still thinks she did indeed do that.
Well, the big failing of the documentary to me is that they proposed this arc that said, well, as the show got successful, as the first season was successful, as it kept getting more successful, that's when they started pushing the boundaries and doing crazy things, and Tyra got crazier. Except when you actually watch the documentary, all of that stuff is present in the first cycle.
Yeah. It's so funny
All
to
of
me. You nailed it, Hannah. It's so funny that they because Tyra wants to excuse away every decision that she was a part of or solely made by saying the viewers demanded it. There was someone online that I loved who's like, I was 11. I was not demanding anything. I didn't know I could demand stuff. But it's also like, Tyra, I feel like Tyra could have actually gotten a redemption.
Yes.
It would have been a lot, but I think there's a weird part of us that is set up as a society to forgive Tyra because we know we've seen everything from Tyra's brain.
Yeah.
We don't feel like there's any secrets to Tyra.
Well, also, as a society, we love forgiving famous people. You don't have to do practically anything. You can do so little.
Yeah. And it's just, Tyra won't.
No.
She simply won't.
Not.
To the point that, like, the one apology, heavy finger quotation she gives in episode 2, I believe, she undercuts with her own language. And I'm like, well,
Keep
one
it.
take Tyra, I guess. She doesn't even have a Tyra 2 list of apologies.
No.
I want to talk, as always, I want to talk more about Shannon. So, Shannon.
I refuse to enable your
I just love
Dr. Pepper can.
Shannon.
Which tooth do they want her to pull?
Shannon. I love that Shannon was like, yeah, after the show, I lost and Tyra sent me flowers and then said, come to New York. And then I did, and I got signed. So, sorry, Giselle.
Well,
Meanwhile,
be better model.
Poor Giselle.
This was the most adorable I'd found her, though.
It was.
Yeah.
They talk about how this big billboard went up in LA that everybody could see.
Which was cool.
It was cool. Oh, the big billboard moment is always cool.
I also will say they really went off on Cycle 1 on those promos of the, like, very simple, elegant models.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you really did something with those Cycle 1 promo photos.
But when she made a business card.
I think it was like a postcard.
That's right. That referenced the billboard.
I just...
With her phone number on it to hand to agents and managers, and it's so pure. It's such a
It's
pure
all in Comic Sans.
impulse. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but,
so
like,
glad she still had those to give us the footage, though.
I know this person, and I am never... Like, if I had gotten one of these, or I'd seen it, I would have been like, ooh, trash. Like, it's...
Oh yeah,
just-
nobody kept that.
Yeah, because it's just like... and I get that, like, they should have prepared them more to be
Yes.
working in the industry, right? But it proves they didn't, because they would have been like, never, ever, ever do that. Don't do that. That you'll be taken non-seriously by doing that.
I also think it's fascinating. Again, this archival footage is interesting to me. I love seeing Tyra on these talk shows pitching top
Mhm.
model.
Mhm.
Because the one thing J.W. Crump learned was that you thought that she was weird when she was pitching Smize Cream Smize and Dream Hot
It's the same.
Same
Hot Ice
person.
Cream. Same. She has been this way in interviews since day one. Her pitching TiVo to Ellen broke my brain.
Is there ever a more mismatched energy than Tyra and Conan O'Brien?
Oh.
Her saying coochie to Kimmel? I was like, what are we doing?
And that's why she's never cursed again.
Except in this documentary. No. She said shit about 70 times.
She did. That's how you know she's real.
I said the same thing, Hannah. I was like, oh, Tyra wants to be like, I've changed. Shit.
The one curse you can say on TV.
I know that's Tyra's way of being like, I get it. I was bad. I did dumb shit.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I hated that.
Quick, someone find a Band-Aid for my finger. Restore the balance.
So I think the perfect way to kind of wrap up this episode, because I think there's a big part of this episode
that it makes more sense
actually
to...
second.
Yeah. This is just a cliffhanger for the rest of this.
Yeah. This is Netflix's editing style.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep watching. Yeah.
The fact that in the documentary, we actually get motherfucking bobblehead footage.
Where are the bobbleheads? Episode 1.
Episode 1
No,
of
you
On
know,
Top.
yeah. No, there are things in this documentary that feel like they were specifically for us.
Yes, because Jason Beekman met me on Scruff, Hannah, and then took a listen.
Did a deep
Maybe.
dive, said, oh, we don't need her. We're just going to go through the
Is there a
content.
world where he was like, well, I got to do some research. And so listen to our podcast, but only the first, like, he got progressively less. And because we did season 1 in 2-episode chunks, he was like, I can do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then was like, wow, that's a lot of episodes. Oh.
I also like the world, Lex, where, and if you've never, I was about to say if you've never been on Scruff.
You know,
Hannah
somehow,
said, looking for friends.
somehow I never, yeah, I'm just lonely. For
Networking.
friendship. Lonely for friendship.
But there's a section where you could say, like, what you're into, and usually it's like, I hate this term, but gay tribe, so it's like bear, cub, jock, whatever.
I love Jock. Jock is my favorite because I'm like, are you on a football team?
Yeah. Where's the rugby receipts? But I love the idea that Lexus said Tyra 2 list, bobblehead, and Beekman was like, got it. Clickety clickety.
Yeah, Beekman started from the tribe search on Scruff and went from there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love the two of you.
Aw.
This is so nice.
The nicest part about the documentary is having a conversation on the Sunday with my best friends.
So yeah, we will be returning next week with part 2 of 3.
We also have some bonus stuff, don't we, that you're going to sprinkle
Oh,
in?
yeah.
Lex?
If you listen to this, perhaps you are aware, but maybe you're not, that I host another podcast, and I thought it's fun because we've already recorded these. So be on the lookout for some bonus, I guess, content with your friends J.W. Crump and Hannah Jane Ginsburg. They both came onto my show, and it was like mini reunions, really. It's it's like mini reunions of this little show. And so I'll drop those in this feed. If you like it, feel free to rate, review, and subscribe. You can still do that for this podcast because, spoiler, I think we're going to get a huge...
We're about to get a little bump. Let me also say, I want to take the time, Lex, to give you all flowers and take none of them back.
No, you get them all.
I'm not just saying that because Lex is one of my dearest friends. I guess, is an incredibly well done and interesting podcast.
Yes.
And I will say, other than, I also love, I don't want to give away what Hannah talks about in her episode, but I actually also love that product.
Do you?
The premise, yes, I used to drink the glass bottle ones all the time. But Lex brings on a guest, and they have to basically talk about their hyper obsession and kind of prove to Lex why Lex should also be interested. Mm-hmm. And that's the, I guess of it all, right? And there are some episodes, that I would personally recommend. And girl groups with Erin Porcher, all-timer. Anne-Marie comes on and talks about,
very controversial.
Yeah, what's it called?
Oh, the St. Ives.
St. Ives. Mm-hmm. That episode is one of, Your absolute best. I love it so much. And there was a
I
recent
think you
one.
have to listen to Manifesting just to see you get not convinced.
Yes, 100%. It's like there's one's about extreme escape rooms. There's ones about the Dick Van Dyke Show with my friend Kevin Laveson. There's like so many episodes that are good, and also
I've had
these
Pod Leadum listeners on.
Yes,
right.
Claire,
Great
who's a friend of the podcast, is on, and other folks, and it's also unlike Pod Leadum, that's Top Bottle Podcast spelled backwards. These are like 40-minute chunks, so you can that's a cute.
And so far, Lex has never had to discuss blackface.
You know, it's nice to do a podcast where I don't have to talk about blackface.
Yeah.
Just like this documentary, which doesn't really talk about blackface either.
They have to bring out a TikTok person to talk about it. T.
So, for Pod Leadum, I have been Lex Basile Price.
I'll be Hannah Jane Ginsburg.
I'm JW Crump.
And we'll see you on top.
Pod Leadum is not endorsed by America's Next Top Model, Tyra Banks, 10x10 Entertainment, or any of their subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. America's Next Top Model and all names, pictures, and audio clips are registered trademarks and copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders.